Friends, thank you for joining us here on the Deportes Nation. I'm Alex Parra, beside me the one and only, my partner in crime, Victor Araiza. Victor, we're here at Shell Energy Stadium, a tie to start the season for the Houston Dynamo.
A start to the season, maybe not as they envisioned it, but certainly with all the injuries, everything to consider, I think probably a good result, no?
Probably a good result. At least it's getting the season started at
Right.
home without a loss. Let's put it that way. Let's start with the injuries. This is not the team that Coach Ben Olsen wants, that Pat Olmstead wants, but it's the reality they have to deal with, injuries.
And certainly on top of that, the congestion of the schedule here at the beginning because of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They'll play the return leg on Tuesday, so that's also throwing a hurdle in there. That's why I think all things considered, it was a good start. Probably helps that both teams are coming out of preseason.
Yeah.
Kansas City a little bit more than Houston, and we saw it today.
So let's talk about another aspect. As the seats right now are emptied, this was not a sellout today, meaning it was
it
not a
wasn't.
full house. Relative to last season when the team won the U.S. Open Cup, they made it to the finals of the Western Conference, so close to winning an MLS championship, and this building still cannot be full. What is missing?
Well, that's been the story for years. I mean, it's been consecutive years now, and I think maybe you throw in an anomaly there. That game where Chicharito's debut in MLS
Yes.
made that a sellout in 2020, right before the COVID.
I remember that
halt.
one, actually.
But other than that game, I mean, everything for a long time now has been
Yeah.
not a sellout here in Houston. It used to be in the older days and obviously the newer days of the stadium. I think that just kind of speaks to where the team still needs to make up some ground. Obviously, we didn't see a sellout last year, and I will say on the positive, the presentation, the video work, the way they try to amp up the crowd, there is things here to build on. I mean, there is potential, but it could be so much more.
It could be so much more. And before we get run over by the lawnmower here at the end of the evening, quickly, today, not Ted Siegel, but Gabe Siegel with the goal, the one that was allowed. I'll put it that way. So quickly talk about this new player coming from New York and finding first home game here, a goal. That's important. That's going to build his confidence.
Yes, a late addition for the Houston Dynamo. Obviously there was rumors during the preseason, but got on the field in the later minutes and made the difference. I do think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, and you saw it in his tendencies. He's a forward. He's a bit of a goal scorer, right? That has a
That
nose for
helps.
goal. And considering what was Sebastian Kowalczyk, who may be more of a creator, at least from what I've seen.
Sure.
Maybe not so much a guy that puts goals in the back of the net. I mean, Aliou, who's better on the wings. I mean, but those are the wrinkles that this team has to figure out, especially with Sebastian Ferreira, one of the big injuries, obviously, of this team.
Yeah.
Hector Herrera with the creativity. That's why, obviously, all things considered. And we have to also throw in there an offside goal that wasn't called, or at least in our opinion, it
Well,
wasn't called.
you're going to the wrinkle. You mentioned that word, the referees. This is not the referees that are the pro referees. These are the replacements. And I think today they called a good game overall, and both Peter Vermes and Ben Olsen spoke of that. They weren't too critical. They said, this is our reality.
Yeah.
There were moments, though, when
Right.
you could tell there was a level that
Right.
quite wasn't there. But it's very easy to criticize referees, Victor. I've been one and pretended, not at this
Yeah.
level, but pretended to be one. It's not an easy gig.
It's not, and it's not to put it on the referees. It's just to sort of say there was the opportunity there for them to win it,
Yeah.
even with what we said, the injuries, the roster. Maybe fans would have liked to have seen a better roster put by the start of the season.
Yeah.
But again, all of those things considered, I do think that it is a good result to now walk away with basically nothing out of your first home game.
Yeah, first home game for us, also beautiful weather. So we know that will change soon, and it's a very, very long season. And we'll keep you abreast of everything that's happening with the Houston Dynamo throughout the season here on Deportes Nation. That's Victor. I'm Alex. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, friends, on another edition of Deportes Nation.